3 years after that, I would meet a man that would change my life forever. And he walked into the class, amazing power, amazing presence. He looked me in the eyes and he said, "I will make you a champion."
Okay, team ILKB, I'm so excited. I've got a very special guest here today. Listen to this guy's credentials. Number one, he's a 9th degree black belt under the Superfoot system. He's the head of business development and black belt testing. He's an author. He's a public speaker. He's an incredible person. We're going to talk about leadership and some fun stuff. So please welcome Mr. Chris Natzke.
Great to have you.
Good to have
be
you.
Here, buddy. All right.
Good to have you. All
yeah.
Right. Well, we've known each other a while, and you've tested me and watched me kick and punch.
That's
and,
right.
Well, how'd I do? What do you think?
You did great. You did great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, you remind me a lot of me, meaning lifelong martial artist.
Yeah.
You know, you've been in martial arts pretty much your entire existence, and so let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
How you got the bug to punch and kick?
Yeah. Well, I started martial art training back in 1973. Short little chubby 10-year-old, and
That's before I was born, by the way.
Oh, hey, easy there, easy there. And there was a TV show at the time called Kung Fu. David Carradine, Kwai Chang Caine, exactly. And so I just became enamored with that show, and eventually just begged my mom, and she relented and let me go to my first class. And I remember it like it was yesterday because I saw these people with these amazingly powerful movements, and I literally felt like I came home. And then about 3 years after that, I would meet a man that would change my life forever, my original Taekwondo instructor and Grandmaster J.K. Lee in Milwaukee. And one of the first times I was in class with him, I was seated in the corner of the room, stretching out. My legs were spread wide, getting ready for the class. And he walked into the class, amazing power, amazing presence. And he started surveying all the students, and pretty soon I realized he's staring at me. And before I could move a muscle, he came and sat down in front of me, and he put his right foot on the inside of one leg, his left foot on the inside of the other, grabbed my belt, split me out to 180 degrees. And then he said some words that would change my life forever. You know, outside of me understanding that anyone can do the splits once, right? He looked me in the eyes and he said, "I will make you a champion. I will make you a champion." Now, at 13 years old, all I thought about was medals and trophies. But what I realized later on is that he meant becoming a champion in life. And the other thing that I realized many years later is as a young man who was growing up in a challenging household, he became this amazing role model for me. And while my head heard, "I'll make you a champion," what my heart heard was, "I believe in you." And that's where I was hooked. And I realized at a very young age that this is what I wanted to do. Not only be a student and a practitioner, but a teacher of the martial arts as well.
Fascinating, Chris. So let me ask you, do you think he singled you out, or does he say that to everyone?
Well, here's what's very interesting is I became his son's instructor.
Okay.
And cool. So we've become very, very close, and he's like my little brother. And one day, the three of us were out to lunch. I had come back to Wisconsin to visit, and I told that story. And his son's listening to him, and he goes, "He says that to everyone." I said, "But he said it to me." And that's all that counted. In that moment, he said it to me. And what it also made me understand is, as a martial arts instructor, as a leader, as a business owner, we never know how those small moments and how we communicate with people can make a dramatic change in their life. Because for me, it was life-changing. When he said that to me, I thought, well, if he sees that in me, that must be who I am. And it just continued to be then a self-fulfilling prophecy from there.
Yes. The believing in you.
Yes.
Someone else believed in you. Right. And that's what everyone needs, don't you think?
100%. Regardless of the type of athlete we are, the type of student we are, when we have that one person, it can be life-changing for us.
Yeah. Just need one to believe in you,
exactly.
Right? Yeah. That's a powerful statement he said to you.
Yes.
"I will make you a champion." Wow. That's powerful. Do you ever say that to people now?
I don't use those terms.
How do you believe in people?
Well,
what do you say?
What I say to them is I create this distinction. As leaders, I think it's super important. You'll hear a lot about the term holding people accountable, right? And I think holding people accountable is very, very important. But it can also sometimes be more of a demeaning term or it can be judgmental. So I focus on holding them capable. I see you capable of this greatness. I see this in you. You told me this is what you want to achieve. I see it in you too. And just that affirmation and holding them that standard in a positive way, I've seen it work tremendously with my students.
I love that. Hold people capable. Yeah. Okay, so you're 13. You get inspired.
Yeah.
You say, I love this. The kung fu show's awesome. I want to be Bruce Lee, right? Exactly. I want to be like David Carradine. What happened next?
Well, interestingly enough, I grew up in a very small town in the Midwest, 30 miles west of Milwaukee. Taekwondo at that time was not even a term we used. We called it Korean karate. And also, I was one of the students that were there. I was the only kid. So before 1980, 81, before the Karate Kid movies came out, it was mostly 20-something men, and that's who I trained with.
Same here.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have a kids program. They didn't know how to work
kids program, exactly. And I would travel 30 miles one way to train with Grandmaster Lee. We had a club in my town, which I trained at 3 days a week, but then I would train with him. I'd have to travel 30 minutes just to get to him, right? Well, what happened when I was around 16 years old is the instructor that was in my hometown left. So I went into Milwaukee. I'm 16 years old. I'm like, sir, who's going to take over the program? And he looked at me and said, you are.
Oh, wow.
So at 16 years old, I was the head instructor.
Wow.
And I was teaching not only adults that were maybe sometimes twice my age, but kids as well. I'm also happy to say that the program doubled after I took it over, which was awesome, which I guess I knew I had some kind of skill in that. But then what martial arts did for me is I competed and I did very well in high school, but I was also an athlete in football. And what martial arts did for me is it took me from, I think I was naturally a good athlete, but it helped me really achieve greatness because of what I did in martial arts. So then I eventually went to college on a football scholarship.
Yeah, you played for Northwestern.
Northwestern University, yep.
And well, incredible athlete.
Go Cats, baby.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you obviously earned your black belt
Correct.
in Taekwondo.
Yep.
And maybe second or third.
Second. I was second degree by the time I went off to college.
Okay, went to college. And you did martial arts tournaments.
I did.
As well.
I did.
And you won a national title with that.
Yeah.
Right?
In 1999, I dusted things off, went into competition in Olympic style Taekwondo, took silver in 98. I'm still upset about losing in the finals, but then I came back in 99 and won the national championships at the United States Taekwondo Union.
Okay.
So it was an age. It was a division that was heavyweight black belt. What I fought ages I think 35 to 40 or something like that. So, but it was still something I'd always wanted to do. But life happens. I got married early, had a child, and was working for a company. So this was my avenue. And at that time, I had also opened up my martial arts school. So I left the corporate world in 1993 and opened up my martial arts center in Denver.
And your college degree, backing up a little bit, was in
communication studies.
Yes. And now you're a public speaker.
Now I'm a speaker,
right?
exactly.
That makes perfect sense.
Worked out well.
A lot of people go to college, don't use their degree in real life, and you're using it.
And quite honestly, I started that degree because I was in economics, but I needed to take a foreign language.
Wow.
And I'd never done it in high school. They said, well, if you do communication studies, you don't need to do a foreign language. And it ended up being exactly where I needed to be.
You know what my major was in college first year? Elementary education.
Oh, wow. So
no one would have known that,
that's
right?
Right.
And you know why? Because I love teaching kids karate.
Yes,
I saw the light bulb go off, and I was like, oh, wow. So if I can inspire kids as a male teacher, there's not a lot of male elementary school teachers. If I can inspire kids here, I can, in karate, I know I could do it in a classroom. 100%. So, but things shifted, and with business.
Well, but here's the thing. I would argue you're still a teacher.
Thank you.
And we're nothing but big kids anyway.
With a job.
So,
big kids,
exactly.
Kids with a job, right?
So if you can inspire and motivate and you can hold people's attention through those skills, and you can do it with children, you can do it with anyone. Yeah, that's been my experience.
Yeah, you're so right. Okay, let's talk about how you met the one and only Mr. Superfoot.
Yes.
Mr. Bill Wallace.
Yeah. So I had been a huge fan of his. I started, as I said, martial arts in 73 as a 10-year-old. A year had gone by. I think I was a gold belt at the time. I was babysitting the next door neighbor's kids. And my mom called me up and she said, hey, there's this professional karate thing that's on TV. I think you might want to watch it. Well, this is September of 1974. This is when Bill Wallace won his world championship. And I'm not just saying this because I'm his student. He not only dominated the competition, he dominated the tournament. There was no one else that looked so proficient as him. The kicking was unbelievable. And I remember at 11 years old, I said, one day I want to kick just like him. So years go by, and back in the day, we didn't have the ability to watch videos on YouTube of our heroes.
Right.
It was all through karate magazines and everything. So anyway, based on someone who I had gotten involved in martial arts as a kid, called me up one day in 1986, and he said, hey, Bill Wallace I was working in Chicago at the time. He says, Bill Wallace is going to be in central Wisconsin. You got to come up and do the seminar. And I did. Met my hero, and I'd like to think that because I was talented and I'd also emulated his style for so many years, I was his partner for the entire seminar. So I got kicked in the head, I got kicked all over, and I loved every minute of it. And at the end of the day of the 3-4 hour seminar, we're doing our picture, and he looked at me, he goes, hey, thanks for helping me. We're going out to dinner tonight. Come join us. Oh, I'm going to go out to dinner with my hero. And from there, the relationship just continued. And then Karate College was another big way. I used to train with him at Karate College each year, which was a
amazing
weekend seminar. And then I became a teacher there. So the relationships just developed from there.
Yeah.
So sometimes I still pinch myself that I'm getting to work as close as I do with my boyhood hero. Just the way it is.
A lot of times when you meet your hero, you're disappointed.
Right.
But when I met him and you met him, it wasn't
that at all.
It wasn't disappointing. It was like, holy smoke! It pulled him up in my brain.
And and I travel with him all over the country now, and I have yet to ever see him interact with someone where they didn't walk away thinking that they were his best friend.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was been a really important lesson for me as a teacher and a leader on how when we just treat people with dignity and respect, and we can joke with them, whatever, but as real human beings, the impact that can make on people.
Yeah. I tell people we're not in the fitness business.
Yeah.
We're in the people business.
100%.
And we're in the relationship business.
That's
so
right.
one of the things Bill does so good, like, hey, come have a hamburger with me.
That's right.
He's building relationships.
That's right.
That's his secret.
That's right.
I was thinking about his sales process, and he doesn't say he has a sales process, but he does.
He does.
And what it is you go out and he spends time with your students. Mm-hmm. He really connects.
Yes.
He goes out and has dinner with you and builds that relationship.
That's right.
And then boom, you call him back and okay, come do another seminar.
Exactly.
And that's how you keep. It's that power.
You're so spot on with that. And I used to, back in the day, do a lot of consulting with martial arts groups, and I had my own school for many, many years. And I realized that, and I think the same thing applies for your centers, is that people come to a gym, a martial arts school, for different things, different pain points maybe that they want to work on. For kids, it's respect, it's discipline, it's whatever. Right. For adults in your industry, it's for fitness. And they come for those initially, but the reason they stay is because of the community. That's why they stay.
Nailed it.
And if you can create that community within your center, and it becomes almost a second home for them. It's like Norm from Cheers. Every walk in, Norm, right? It's the same way. People will stay with you for literally years.
100%. With our coach program with iLoveKickboxing, coach is an acronym. And the first C is community.
There you go.
We're building community,
that's it.
Right? And that's what it's about. My brother says people don't quit. People will quit programs.
Yes.
They don't quit on relationships.
Exactly.
So
100%.
If you can build that relationship with your people, build it, right?
Yes.
They're going to stay with you and be loyal to you.
Exactly.
Now, Chris, you public speak, you train, you're an author of this incredible book. It's a workbook that you work through.
Yeah.
Tell us about the book. Tell us about your business, and then we'll wrap up with how to reach out to you.
Absolutely. Well, my business in terms of professional speaking kind of came, again, as an extension of martial arts. When I first opened my school in 1995, I had 6 schools in a 2-mile radius of me.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, how do I differentiate myself between my competition? And, there's only so many yellow page ads you can do and newspaper ads. And I said, well, I've been teaching martial arts and I had this affinity for public speaking because I did that in my corporate career. So I started going to all the schools and I started teaching a program I designed called Kindness Counts. So rather than just using martial arts as a vehicle for kicking and punching, it was more of a transformational. It was my answer to bully proofing, basically. And I would go in and I would see an entire school from K through 5, sometimes 600-700 students. And I started to get pretty good at it. And the school started to grow. And then people started asking me about speaking at other events. And I realized something, that if I could hold attention of a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, I could do it with anyone. So just basically developed from there. And I realized that if I wanted to play a bigger game in terms of transformation, I wanted to take it outside of my school. And so that's really how it started. I started with community organizations like Rotaries and Optimist clubs and things like that. Then started going to different educational places, and then started doing corporately. And so that book there was based off of something that evolved from just my keynote speaking, which I still do, but the board breaking experience, which I know you had the experience with.
A blast.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it.
Thank you.
For those of you who don't know, you get to break a board, you write on the board what you want to break through, and it's just so fun.
Yeah. So it's really, again, it's interesting because I think sometimes when we're on purpose, we can look back through our lives and we've been doing the same thing just in different ways. Yeah. So when I'm up speaking publicly, when I'm doing the board breaking experience, I'm literally doing what I've been doing for decades, teaching martial arts, which is to inspire, empower people to be their best selves. That's what I do.
I love it. So how do people reach you? I know you have some
absolutely.
YouTube and all kind of handles
absolutely.
out there, right?
Well, they can certainly reach me at my website, which is my name, www.chrisnatzke.com, CHRIS, N as in Navy, ATZ as in zebra, KE.com. All my speaking information is there. If they want to do a complimentary call with me, they can certainly do that. There's tons of videos there. There's also videos on my YouTube channel, and they can kind of see what I'm all about.
How do they get this?
They can get that at the website as well.
All right,
exactly.
Right on, man.
Also on Amazon, but if they go to the website, they can get it there as well.
Right on. Oh, man. It's an honor to talk to you.
Thanks,
You're so awesome. Hey, guys, if you want more tips, if you want more cool interviews like this, click here, subscribe to our channel. Let's keep kicking and changing lives with kickboxing.